Walton's Mountain, birthplace of modern folk horror. On the 21st of November, 1970, the ABC television network, as part of their Movie of the Week series of programs, aired Crowhaven Farm, an intriguing piece of proto-folk horror that, despite lacking the gravitas of recent efforts such as The Witchfinder General, still managed to do remarkably well in the ratings, drawing a higher viewership than the first moon landing. The success of Crowhaven Farm made executives at rival network CBS sit up and take notice, as they had recently acquired the rights to Ambrose Bierce's novella A Strange Occurrence on Spencer's Mountain, and had been toying with the idea of launching a folk horror series. Using Bierce's work as a blueprint, CBS showrunners decided to set the show in Depression-era West Virginia to, quote, maximize on the creepiness. They also came to conclude that unlike Crowhaven Farm, which was set in New England but had been filmed in Los Angeles, The Waltons, as the series was now to be called, would be filmed on location, a decision which would, decades later, have a huge impact on Robert Eggers, the director of The Witch. With the source material and concept secured, casting began, and CBS soon sent out a call for an actor with a prominent witch's mark to play the lead role of John Boy Walton. This was a practical decision, as it would mean that the makeup department didn't have to create the witch's mark each week, and it would ensure continuity, as a natural witch's mark would always appear in the same spot. Fortunately for CBS, a young actor by the name of Richard Thomas decided to audition for the role of John Boy Walton. Thomas had recently appeared in a segment of Rod Serling's The Night Gallery along with famous horror icon Barbara Steele, and that segment was titled The Sins of the Father. Any devotee of horror should seek this episode out. With the part of John Boy cast, 10 more actors were needed to fill the roles of the other members of the Walton family, as well as 2 additional actors for the roles of the Baldwin sisters, a pair of crones who controlled the secret formula for a magic elixir known only as the Recipe. This would bring the number of main cast members to 13, the number needed to form a coven. With the cast in place, filming on the series began in the spring of 1972, with the pilot, The Harvest, airing on October 31st, Halloween night of that same year. The Harvest, which was loosely based on Thomas Tyrone's novel Harvest Home, finds John Boy being delighted to learn that he has been chosen as that year's Harvest King. However, before he can accept the honor, John Boy is convinced by his grandmother, played by Ellen Corby, to pass the title to his friend Roscoe Blackburn. When, following the Harvest King ceremony, Blackburn disappears, never to be heard from again, John Boy begins to question his grandmother's motives. The episode ends with a voiceover from Grandpa Walton, played by Will Geer, stating that that year's harvest was, indeed, bountiful. The Lottery, clearly based on Shirley Jackson's short story of approximately the same name, finds Ike and Cora Beth Godsey winning the local lottery, only to disappear shortly thereafter, never to be heard from again. Like The Harvest, the episode ends with a voiceover from Grandpa Walton stating that that year's harvest was, indeed, bountiful. The Great God Ben, based on a novel by Arthur Machen, was a rare comedic episode in which the third eldest Walton son, Ben, played by Eric Scott, stumbles upon a group of worshippers of the god Pan while they are in the middle of conducting a ritual. Ben must then spend the rest of the episode attempting to conceal his newly acquired horns and cloven feet from the rest of his family. Other standout episodes include Blood on Satan's Tractor, The Wicker Stand, and the fan favorite, Jim Bob Rides Out. Unfortunately, with the rise of the moral majority and the election of Ronald Reagan, the Waltons, along with Dungeons & Dragons and Whistling After 7 p.m., became the targets of groups of outraged parents. So, on June 6, 1981, the final episode of The Waltons, titled The Cow of Cthulhu, aired. Ironically, it was exactly 2 decades after the final episode aired that it was discovered that Ronald Reagan himself had indeed signed as Pack with Satan. Wait, don't go away. If you're slightly interested in horror, please check out my EP, Tales from the Franken Cartridge. It is available on October 1st on Bandcamp. Thank you.